Let's dive into Blender and let's do the look development for this character right here. Let me place it in rest position, okay? Don't move for now, little guy. And based on the image, we don't have much clue of what kind of surface this character is made of. So we try to come up with some interpretation, and I chose a couple kind of metals, a rubber-ish material, and this glossy, glassy kind of don't touch me spikes thing, all right? And also it changes the color when he gets angry, like it gets red. Let's start applying these materials. So I'm going to pick and paste my materials directly into my objects. By the way, this is an add-on called MPP, Material Pick and Paste. I will leave it in the description if you are interested. I really like this way because when I have materials ready to go, it's very easy for me to copy, pick and paste my materials without having to pre-select everybody and then link the materials. So I like this way. For me, it works well. It's quick, it's fun. And while I'm doing this, I should tell you why I have developed Magic Coordinate. About 1 year ago, I was requesting for some help from my colleagues to help me doing the look development for the characters, and basically they don't have experience doing that. And I was trying to teach them how to apply the materials, and I was getting so frustrated because the workflow was so bad. Like I was using already generated coordinate, but all the tweakings, all the corrections that I have to teach them how to do and why, it was getting not very friendly for someone that doesn't have much understanding, you know, shading, things like this. And I also requested for some help in forums or other places where creators did these procedural materials, and I said, I like your materials, but it does not work with my animated characters, and what should I do? And usually they reply saying, well, you have to bake that into UVs, into a new texture that is flat, it's UVs 2D, and then you can put in your materials. I know, but should be a easier way to do that, but nobody could help me. And I start doing this research and development of Magic Coordinate because I knew the generated coordinate worked with animated characters. So I was feeling that there was a way to find a solution for this problem. So yes, and Magic Coordinate was supposed to be called Generated Coordinate 2.0, but it ended up becoming something else and much more powerful than that. So I assigned all the materials here, and now let's press Set the Magic Coordinate button, and let's see if it works. For now, I will hide these arms. I will explain very shortly why I'm doing this, but let's see. In pose mode, now we have all the information necessary, and here we are. We see our character with all the textures we have applied without any distortion, without UVs, already working. So basically it works out of the box with this solution. I don't have to do any tweaking, scale tweaking, stretching, tweaking, separating materials. No, I just apply my little guys here and it works. So I end up fixing all my frustration, you know, not following the advice from other people and trying to figure out myself my own way to speed up my workflow. So, and here we are seeing that we basically finished. Let's unhide and let's see what's going on to the arms, because as you can see, they are not moving anymore. And the reason for that, let me isolate these guys. The Magic Coordinate modifier, it expects to use a mesh-based object. And if we take a look on these arms, they are actually made from a spline. They are curved-based objects, as you can see. So it won't work with curves. You're going to have to convert it to mesh to use the magic coordinate. So I will remove magic coordinate from them. Now they are back to work. And instead of using magic coordinate as a coordinate, I will use the UVs generated inside this geometry node as my coordinate. So I will copy my rubber kind of thing, and the name is material 3. I will give a new name for it. I'm gonna call rubber UVs procedural, something like that. And I will use these UVs as a coordinate instead of my magic one. So let me add a attribute, and let's use this as my coordinate here. And of course, this is the material I want to give it. A sign for everybody here. All right, everything seems to work. Yes, everything works very well. And we finished. There are some cases where UVs must be done for you to project 2D textures on the surfaces of your objects. Although it's a technical process, potentially time-consuming, it plays important roles in computer graphics in general, like when consistency in pattern, repetition, and directional flow is important for your object's textures. Personally, anytime I have the option to avoid or postpone UVs and baking, I will choose to do so. I found myself using and abusing 3D textures more than ever now with this workflow, since just with noise and Voronoi, you can create a large variety of materials, and they will work in animated characters without any UVs using magic coordinates. Let's simulate some client requests. What if he requested more damage to our character? Well, everything here is still procedural. So let me try doing some rusty thing, and let's try to increase this rustiness progress a little bit more, and let's try to, invert the bumpiness here, and let's try to make it more dark, more damaged, like that. Let me see what I have here. I have scratches to try. Let's try scratches, more scratches. Cool. Let me try copying all this node tree here, and I want the other materials to look like that. So I'm gonna paste all that crazy node tree, and I just want to steal the colors from here. And I will just swipe my colors. And I'm going to delete all this one. Let me plug this here, and I'm gonna have now the scratches here. Very cool. There is another kind of metal here. Let's do the same. I'm going to save the color part, which is these guys. Let me delete these ones. Let me add this guy. Let me just assign my color part of this texture here. And let's see. Yes, I have damage here as well. So, okay, he asked also to change the color. That's not a problem. Let's change this color. Let's add a hue and saturation here. Just very quickly play with hue. Let's say I want to make it more blackish, dark, something like that. So I'm gonna make it more dark. Maybe change the saturation as well. Try a different hue. Let's say more reddish, orange, more dark. Yes. No problems, as you can see. Everything is live. Everything is welcome for your changes at any time. And I'm very happy to do this because the workflow is so flexible, as you can see. Let's say he also asked to change shape, the geometry, add some random, like spiky things. I will inset these ones, and I will inset it again, but extruding. Some crease and some beveling here. just to show you that even if client requests to change shape, 3D geometry, you can do that on the fly. You can accept this kind of requests. And if you rely on UVs, to do this look development part all the time, it means that you're going to have a lot of reworking on your way, a lot of technical preparation steps that consume a lot of your time until you can present your client what he wants to see. And if he doesn't like, again, you got the idea, right? So as you can see, the workflow became for me so much fun, and I'm very happy to now share with you this technique, this workflow. And remember, what matters is what is going to appear on the screen at the end. Doesn't matter what kind of technique you're going to use, but if you are choosing a technique that allows you to make change effortlessly, while you can focus more on developing the shaders, telling the story behind each piece of your materials, your objects, that's going to be better for you, better for the project, better for the client that can request you change, request you trying different ways to come up with their vision or enhancing this final piece. And here I have used the material that already was prepared with many magic coordinate node groups to change specific parts. This, for example, this part here is changing scratches size. You can control individual features of your materials and then gonna reflect directly here, right? But what if you want to take advantage of the abundance of procedural materials that you have available on internet? So let me showcase you now how you can prepare your material to use Magic Coordinate in case you are using third-party products. For example, let's bring here, I really like Sanctus procedural materials. Let's try this Smart Metal version 2 here. I will add this material here. Let's try assigning this material here from Sanctus into all my objects and see what happens. I'm gonna do the linking. I'm gonna play. Let me hide the arms for now because they are made of curves. And let's see what's going on. Do you see that they are not moving along with the surface? Yes, they are not moving because we are not using Magic Coordinate yet. We already have the modifier in place, so I just have to bring my get Magic Coordinate. In Sanctus Smart Materials, for example, he adds this replace vector socket where you can supposedly plug your vector, and then, so as we can see, the material is not working. Even we have replaced with Magic Coordinate node group. If that happened to you, it's because the material actually is not making use of your input coordinate inside his node tree some way. So I will make sure that his material is now going to use our coordinate for any feature texture he has created inside the node group. I will start investigating what's going on here into this dance section, and as you can see, there is a object texture coming, and of course I don't want that. So we will make sure that we are going to expose, or at least that we are coming from outside, and we are going to input our coordinate here, and we have this dirt mask node group. I'm checking if he's using any texture coordinate, and here it's fine, no problem here. Let's take a look if we have an improvement, because we have replaced one coordinate already. And so we see some of the features already locked in place, like scratches are working. Let me show you the dents are working now, because we have these dents already locked in place, but other features are not yet working. And we are going to investigate which part of his node group here is not using our input coordinate. And the feature that is not working yet, let me take a look, is probably the rust part. Let's change the rust scale to make sure that this is the feature we want to investigate inside the node group. So yeah, it's sliding. Let's enter this space right here, and let's look for something that's not being replaced on the node group. Every node that use a blue line means a vector, so we should take a look on that. I probably have been inside this node group before, and I remember that there is this rust node group, and it's not using any external blue line, which means this part is not using our coordinate. So I'm gonna enter this space, and as you can see, it's using an object coordinate locally inside this feature. So that's not what we want. We want to make sure that our external vector can be used inside. So we're gonna make sure that this is going to be replaced as well. So we are making sure. Let's take a look again. I'm playing. Yes, we have the rust in place, but there is another feature that's still sliding. Who is that? I will come back. Let me see this dirt mask. Seems like we are talking about this feature, the dirt mask. Let me see inside this node group. We don't have... we have a dust noise here. Remember, I checked. I didn't notice that we have another node group here that is not using our magic coordinate input. So I will enter this dust noise thing. And as you can see, again, it's using the object coordinate. I will make sure that this is going to be exposed. So all the blue lines are coming inside the node group, which means I can externally plug another magic coordinate node group as a coordinate. And now I can control this feature as I want. I can change location, scale, rotation. I can make it look how I want. And now it also is working with magic coordinate. And this is how you prepare someone else's material to work with magic coordinate. You basically make sure to feed magic coordinate input as a coordinate to all the 3D textures being used inside that specific material. And just to wrap it up, also you can play, for example, like you can select a specific object and you can offset the texture in the way you want without changing the other objects. So we talked in the previous video about this feature here. You can break consistency in scale if you want as well. Now let me focus on this sphere here to explain you that the order of set the magic coordinate modifier matters in your stack of modifiers. Let me remove this for now. And let's see, when I press set the magic coordinate with auto sort turned on, you're gonna see that set magic coordinate was placed just before the cast. The cast modifier is a deforming kind of modifier. You can change shape of geometry using this factor here. If my magic coordinate was placed after this, the material does not work anymore, as you can see. Now the texture seems to be sliding, right? So you press set magic coordinate with auto sort on, it will understand that it should be placed before something that deforms geometry. And that's essentially how the magic happens, because we have to place magic coordinate modifier just before something that eventually will change the shape of your mesh. So in this case, it understands cast changes shape and magic coordinate is placed here. And in the case of our character here, let's take a look at this piece and see what happens when I press set magic coordinate. So I will remove for now. Of course, now it's not going to work. It's using the object coordinate. So let me press set magic coordinate with the auto sort turned on. Because if it was off and I press, it's going to be placed at the bottom, which means that you're going to see some sliding happening, as you can see. We have to make sure auto sort is on, because magic coordinate can find the best position for it to be placed. And in this case, it was even before the mirror. It could be after the mirror in this case. As I said, it should be just before something that distorts geometry. But in this case, the mirror changes virtually the bounding box of my object here, which makes my texture look squashed. So I want to make sure to use my bounding box from my base mesh instead of a virtual mesh, so my texture does not look squashed, a little bit squashed in this case. And there you have it. I hope you understand. It's a very deep subject, a lot of things going on under the hood, but I want to make sure that you understand why this could be so helpful for you as well. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.